we have a lag, so let's just wait. Ooh, child, get the phone together. I'm gonna package you, and then wait 8 seconds before you answer. Taylor, Missouri, 30, is an Aquarius, has an 8-year-old, and works in ER. What kind of man you looking for? Wait 8 seconds.
Just someone who's actually looking for a relationship, somebody who isn't just looking for sex, someone who's financially stable. Because, I mean, like, it's really hard to find men when you're, like, serious about dating. There's a lot of people who will sleep with you, a lot of people who will waste their time with you, but they don't want to be serious. They don't want to open up. They don't want to connect. They don't want to take the time to really get to know you as a person. And I feel like I have a hard time with that. Guys will like I have guys in my inbox all the time. They'll try to talk to me. They'll, but it's not like anything deep. And I feel like that's really hard, especially Black men. And I know a lot of people are going to give me shit, but I don't really date Black men. And I'm going to tell you why. So I grew up in the Army. My dad was in the military, so I've lived like all over. I'm used to different nationalities, and like growing up and then getting stuck here in Missouri when my parents divorced, I noticed that a lot of the Black men here just don't have a lot going for them. Unfortunately, they don't want to work. They don't want to provide. They don't want to be men. And I know that sounds bad. It does, but that's just my reality. A lot of my friends give me shit about it because I date outside of my race. And I feel like I would like to be with a Black man if I could find one who had their shit together or who was ready for something serious. I'm just being honest. A lot of the Black men here, they say they want to be like with a woman who wants them to hold them down, but it's like when we need them to hold us down, they're nowhere to be found. And a lot of the men here of other nationalities, whether that be white, Indian, Asian, they all have their shit together. They all have good jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing about it is, the problem with that is even the ones that do sometimes have their shit together and have good jobs, they're on the same page. They just want sex. They don't want anything serious. So it's still hard for me to date. And it's not that I haven't tried to date Black men, because I definitely have. And it just kind of ends up the same way. They just want sex. They don't want anything serious, but they will lie to you and tell you that they do. And then you'll end up realizing they don't really want anything. So I'm at a point now where I'm not having sex with anyone until we are in a committed relationship. I feel like in the past I've made mistakes and I like someone and I give up my body too soon because I think it's going somewhere, that I find out, okay, it's not. So, and that's with all races of men. I'm just gonna kind of just stick to like, we're gonna talk, date, see how it goes. Once you tell me like we're in a committed relationship, then I feel like that's when the sex will come. So
I definitely agree with your rule of committed relationships and then have sex, because I feel like that is, I always say this about, there's a pool of men that will have sex with you, but it doesn't mean that's also the pool of men that would be in a committed relationship. So kudos to you. I agree with that rule. Let me ask you this. When did you stop dating Black men? Is this a new rule you just, hold on, you gotta wait 8 seconds. Oh, wait, remember you gotta wait 8 seconds. I don't want us to get cut off. Did you just stop dating Black men?
It's not that,
or is this something?
I'm sorry.
Okay, honey, you got
not that I just all of a sudden.
Wait, girlfriend, hold on. You gotta listen, because we have a lag, and if you over talk too soon, your response won't come out. So the question is, when did you stop dating Black men? Wait 8 seconds.
Okay, so I didn't I'm just gonna stop dating Black men. I primarily try to avoid the Black men here because of what I've dealt with them. Like the things that I encountered with Black men. Like recently, I dated someone who was Black, and I found out he was sleeping around on me with like 3 different women. And me and him started out as friends first, and then we had a sexual relationship. And he lied to me, told me that he was committed to me, and it seems to be the same story with a lot of my Black friends. They're with a Black man, they sleep around on them with multiple people, have kids on them, things like that. My white friends, they don't deal with any of that. I know it's stereotypical, but it's just a different world. Like with the Black men that we deal with versus my friends who deal with white men or their white husbands. They're not out here embarrassing them, having babies on them. They pay their child support, they take care of their kids. I'm being honest, the Black men here, they don't do that. And then it's like when you date outside of your race, people want to berate you or make you feel like, oh, you need to hold the black man down. But I'm like, they don't give a shit about us half the time, but you want us to hold them down. And if I found, like I said, if I found a decent black man, then yeah, I would. It's not about skin tone. It's not about color. It's not about any of that. I'm very attracted to black men. If I could find one who had the shit together, then it wouldn't be a problem. And like I said, I just dealt with one. We have been friends for years. He presented himself to be this great black woke man, and he was so nice and caring and loving. And I found out he had a sex addiction. And I found out he was sleeping with multiple women unprotected behind my back. And that's scary. And the rise in STDs, which we don't talk about a lot in the black community, I feel like we don't talk about that stuff. And I just feel like that's very common. They sleep around with us, they give us diseases, and they leave us with babies, and that's what they want us to hold down. Now, there are some good black men out there. There are, but where I live at, unfortunately, the ones who are good are usually married, in a relationship, or gay. And then you have the ones that are left over, and I saw that. Someone said, could it be the type of man that you're dating? And the thing about it is I've dated all different types of black men. It's not the same type. I don't have one specific type. If you treat me good and you're respectful and you have, something going for you, I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, you have to make $100,000 a year. At least make, a decent amount what I make. But I have given lots of black men a chance. The last guy, he was 50-50. I don't even like 50-50, but I did it because I liked him. I split shit with him. Why? Because I liked him. But then I found out he was sleeping around on me with 3 different women. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you give niggas chances, and then you find out they're doing that shit behind your back. And I'm like, so not only was I going 50-50 with your ass, but then you was fucking 3 bitches behind my back. And not only 3, there's probably another one. We don't even know. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like with the white men, my friends are like, well, they're going to cheat on you too. I'm like, well, would you rather cry in a Bentley or a Toyota? Because the white men, they're at least going to be providing and paying the bills and taking care of things. The black men will cheat on you and you'll catch them. And they'll just be like, oh, well, I guess you got me. You want to take me back or not? That's how it is here. And I feel like people are going to hate on me and be like, whatever. But I know I'm not lying because I know my friends' experiences. And with the white guys I have dealt with, even the negative experiences, they're still more respectful than the black men here. I'm being honest. The black men here where I live at is a college town. So it's like a lot of white women, like a lot of interracial couples. Like my daughter, she's biracial. Her dad's German and black. So she's biracial. And I noticed that a lot of the black men here, they date a lot of white women. I have no problem with that. But the problem here is they put the white women on a pedestal like, oh, if you're black, you should be happy. You should be feeling lucky that I'm even giving you the time of day because you're a black woman. That's kind of how they treat us here. Like we're the last option. And when we do get picked, we should just be grateful for whatever they give us. And when you're a woman who has something going for yourself, a black woman at that, and you say, I don't want to put up with this. I have standards. I have boundaries. Then the black men are like, oh, well, I guess your ass is going to be single. And I'm like, you know what? I would rather be single than put up with you. And so that's why I don't date black men all the time. However, if there is a nice black man watching this live that has their shit together and lives around the Columbia, St. Louis, Kansas City area, then that's different. But I'm telling you, Kendra, it's horrible. It's horrible out here.
Okay. Yeah, because I want to give you the space to speak freely. So let me just ask you this question. So the reason I asked you, when did you stop dating black men? Because I guess my question is, if you now are dating outside of your race, why are you still single? Like, why didn't you settle down with somebody outside of your race if that's what you're focusing on? Wait 8 seconds before you respond.
Honestly, it's by choice. I just went on a date this evening. I just got back from a date. And it's not because, I want to say like, just because you go out with someone and they're nice and you like them and the vibe is right, doesn't mean that that person's for you. There's plenty of times you can go out on a date and you like someone and you're cool, but it's just like, I'm not feeling it. And there's been times where I have maybe tried a relationship and I'm like, okay, it's just not there. I feel like a lot of times people just don't want to be single so bad that they'll just kind of jump into the first thing that they see or the first thing that they find. And I know a lot of people are like, well, why are you on this dating thing? I like your show and I watch it. And I've actually been on here before. You probably don't remember me. It was like a year ago. It was a while ago. And a bunch of men from like Africa and stuff were trying to talk to me, which I don't live in Africa. So, but I feel like I just want to make sure, because I was married before. Me and my husband, we divorced in 2017. I probably should add that in there. We've been divorced for a while, and I want to make sure the next person that I get with, the next person that I bring around my child, is somebody that I really want to stay with. I'm not necessarily like in a rush to just jump into something, but I feel like maybe by getting on here, my pool will be better, or like a bigger pool of men to like get exposed to than what's here in Columbia, because it's a really small town. And I feel like, you know what I mean?
I get that. I get that. So again, I'm still just kind of confused because I'm trying to see if you're open, if your truth is your truth, and you have the right to decide what you want. But if you don't want to date black men and you made this decision whenever you made it, like, are you saying the experience in other races is better? And if so, why hasn't that become
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I have met guys of other races that are nice. They just weren't for me. Like, it wasn't like a relationship thing. Maybe we liked each other and we just weren't vibing like that. Like, it was just like, oh, it's friends. And then I work a lot too. I work at the hospital. So I work 50, 60-hour weeks. So I'm not going to lie. Like, my dating life has been kind of non-existent lately because I work so much. And then I have my daughter because I share custody. So my primary focus has not been dating and relationships right now. I go on dates.
Okay, so we kind of got that. So I'm going to move forward, but is there a specific race that
No, I'm not saying that I won't ever date black men. I'm saying that primarily since I've been living here, I don't.
Well, girl, I don't know if black men gonna want to date you.
I mean, that's just my experience. I'm sure there's plenty of black men who feel like we're ghetto and ratchet and loud and all types of stuff. So, I mean, it's everyone's experience. That's just my experiences with men. Like I said, I'm sure there might be a decent black man out there who has their shit together. I just haven't met one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all you can do is speak from your experience. Let's keep going. So this is Taylor, Missouri, 30, Aquarius, 8-year-old, and she works in ER. So we kind of got the kind of man you're looking for. What are your deal breakers? Wait 8 seconds. And Taylor, bring the camera up a little bit.
It's just the way, like, how I'm sitting it. That's all I can sit it on, kind of. I mean, okay. I feel like, obviously, like, liars, cheaters, someone who's just not financially stable, someone who isn't really looking for something serious, kind of like playing games, and then no alcoholics, no pass out. Like, if you're sober, that's okay, but I dated someone who was an alcoholic and I was in an abusive relationship, so I'm not comfortable dating anyone with a drinking problem or drug problems. That's about it.
Okay. Does he have to, well, I guess you can still answer this. Does he have to look a certain way and make a certain amount of money? Wait 8 seconds.
No. I'm not super, like, I'm not super physical. Like, it's not like you have to be, like, so good looking or anything. I think it's just, like, there has to be an attraction between us. Just, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be a specific height. I'm 5'7.5", so he could be, like, 5'8", 5'9". That doesn't matter. He could have long hair, short hair. I actually have locks underneath of this, so he can kind of be whatever. Just take care of yourself. Just be clean cut. Mm-hmm. You said underneath, this is a lace front. I have locks under this.
Ooh, locks, black girl.
No, won't date a black. I didn't say I won't date one. I said that I have not met one who is serious and who has their life together and who really wants a relationship. Like, they're all just kind of play around here and they don't have their shit together. I'm attracted physically to black men. That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm not attracted to them. It's almost like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's insanity. If you keep running into black men who aren't great and don't treat you well, and all different types of black men, are you going to keep going back? Probably not. You said.
Well, let me jump in because that's almost like, first of all, I honor your experience. So let me say that I honor your experience, but it's almost like a white person having bad experience with black people and then saying the whole black race is bad because of their experience. Now, we would know that's not true. You cannot hold us accountable for your experience, the whole entire race. Now, I do acknowledge your experience, and that's real. And I also do believe black women might have to consider dating outside the race. I'm a black woman. I will never date outside my race. I went on 2 dates with white men, and it just wasn't for me. Like, I am black. woman to, but I've also had very horrible experiences with Black men. So I think the challenge is this. It's not that you don't, I'm okay with you being open because you should be open, but to put a blanket of all Black men are bad because of the experience you had. But that's what you're. What did you say then?
I have not.
But okay, to be clear,
here where I live, that have their shit together. And as I said before, there could be someone watching or a decent Black man. I'm just saying that what's here where I live, it's not good options. It's just not. And it's not me downing all Black men. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the options here, they're not good. Every Black woman I know, the Black men that they deal with are trash. I don't know any Black woman here, unfortunately, dealing with a Black man who hasn't cheated, who hasn't abused them, who hasn't, you see what I'm saying? Like, and even when I grew up, I didn't grow up watching a good Black man. My dad cheated on my mom all the time. So that's what I'm saying. When you're raised in a community where all you see is Black men treating their women like shit, and then you grow up, and then you date, and then you're around a bunch of Black men treating you like shit, but other races are treating you like you feel like you should be treated, that's gonna make you want to go outside of your race. It's not that I don't feel like I would want to end up with a Black man, because that would be great. I would love to. I just can't find one that meets what I.
Well, girlfriend, you have a biracial child's father, right? You said it. So, I mean, he's Black and white. He's part Caucasian. So
everything
why didn't that work out?
Paper is not going to always be good in real life. Just he's phenotypically and what on paper looks good, right? But we're not together for a reason. He didn't treat me right. He didn't treat me with respect, and it's not.
And you feel like that was the Black side and didn't treat you with respect?
That's
not been the white side.
What I think is this. I feel like every time Black women say something negatively about Black men and their experiences, where it's almost like we're judged, like we're not allowed to feel the way that we feel. I understand that you like, you are for the Black men. I'm not saying that they're not great Black men out there. I'm just saying that realistically, the majority of Black men that are in my surrounding area are not. It's just like,
okay, because that can be fair. That's not. Are you willing to relocate to a better?
It's not my choice. I have a child. I share custody, so I'm kind of like stuck here, and that's the part that sucks, because I can't move and neither can he, because we share our. It's just a bunch of legal stuff. So if I could move, yes, I would probably have a lot better chance. And I think the thing about it is, even with my ex-husband, like I left him. And he admitted, like, I could have treated you better. I could have did this, this, and that. We got married really young. I was 21. How many people get married super young and it doesn't work out? You know what I mean? Now I'm at a place where I'm still responsible. I only have one child. You know what I mean? I'm still dating and trying to live. Your 20s is when you're supposed to date and have different experiences and make mistakes. Clearly, I'm 30 now. I've done those things. So I'm ready and I'm willing and I'm looking for someone. And have I tried to date Black men? Yeah, I just told you. I was seeing a Black man last year. It did not work out because he was lying to me and sleeping around on me. That is not necessarily something that all Black men are going to do, but it's a common trend here with the Black men. They just sleep around on you. They lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was also broke. He lied to me about his income, told me, I'm about to make 6 figures. I made more money than him. And it was just like, he was faking and lying and doing all this stuff. And he didn't even have to do all that. He could have just been honest with me and it would have been okay. But he lied and then he was sleeping around on me. So I'm saying, every experience I've had with a Black man, he was like the icing on top of the cake for me. I'm just like, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I have no problem with
Black people.
I'm Black, clearly. I love Black love. I would love to find a Black man. I'm just having a really hard time finding it. And yes, the white men that I have encountered have treated me better. And that's just my experiences. And you're not the only one.
But I go back to that. The white men have treated you better, but they're still single. So, I mean, but hold on, because I want to respond to that, because that's where you lose me. You're saying the white, hold on, I'm going to let, we can't overtalk because we have a delay, and I want to make sure you're heard. But that's where it gets challenging, because you say the white men have treated you better, but they still haven't made you a girlfriend or locked you down. So what is the situation? Wait 8 seconds and then respond.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like that they haven't, because I have had relationships with white guys. They're usually in because of me. The white guys that I've had relationships with, while they treated me nice, while they might have been good to me, yes, some of them might be clingy and be like, I love you in 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's too much for me. Or some of them might be controlling. The race of a person doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to stay with them. It's not like I'm saying white guys are better than black or Indian guys are better than black. I'm saying my experiences have been better. You can have better experiences with somebody and still not end up with them. It doesn't mean that just because I am having a lot worse issues with black men that I don't have issues with white guys, or Indian guys or Asian guys. I date all nationalities. It's not just white men. But what I'm saying is the options here for men who have their stuff together. Unfortunately, the black men are kind of at the bottom. Like a lot of them they don't have a good job. They're not taking care of themselves, their kids. They're just their normal everyday stuff. Like honestly, you literally have to ask for the bare minimum here from our black men. And they can barely do that. And then when they just do the bare minimum, like have a job and their own place and a car, then they want you to be grateful for that. Like, oh, I have my own stuff, so you should be happy. And also, when you make more money than them, that's another issue I run into. Making more money than the black guys that I date. They treat you differently. They act like, oh, well, I don't got to pay for you. You got it. Why do I need to do this? They want to go 50-50 on everything. They want to treat you like a man. Why should I do this for you? Because you make more money than me. I know you got it. That's what I'm saying. The white guys, never have I been out with a white man or Indian man or ever have to pull my wallet out, have to ask them for anything. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of even black women here, it seems like the generations before us that raised us, they're not raising us and teaching us how to love and how to be in healthy relationships. They're not teaching us about therapy. They're not teaching us about how to communicate with each other or talk to each other. And I feel like other races, it seems like their parents instill that in them. I can have a conversation with a white man or an Indian man or anybody else that I can't have with a brother or a black man because they're defensive. They have their guard up. They don't want to speak to you. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. And it's harder to be with a black man here today than it is with other races because I feel like they're just more open. And that could also be for me being a military child. Because like I said, I grew up in the Army. I've been all over the world, different nationalities. So to me, I don't look at it as like a big thing. My dad, he's married to a white lady. Like, it's not a huge deal for me to date outside of my race. But to people who haven't been to other parts of the world or who are closed-minded, they look at it as, well, you don't want to date black men. That must mean you just don't like black men. No, it means that what I want, the standards and the things that I'm requesting, they can't give me. So I have to go elsewhere. I have to go outside of my race. You see what I'm saying?
So now hear me out. I totally get what you're saying. And the thing that has been clear, the quality of black men that you desire is not in your environment. And I don't live in your environment, so I'm going to take your word for it. But where you lose me at is you dated outside your race, and according to you, you're leaving these men. You're able to talk to them. They come well established. They're not cheating on you. You've dated Asian, white. So it's almost like, well, what would please you? If you're dating those men, and those men you say you walk away from, but not because of the reasons of the black man. It's like, what is gonna satisfy you enough to be in a relationship then? Because if you're dating outside of, you have to wait. Because I sit and listen. If you're dating outside of your race, which we've gotten, and I get that. I'm just still trying to figure out why the hell you're still single, because you have the other options, but you don't want those options either. Wait 8 seconds.
So it's not about me not being happy enough. Some things just don't work out. It has nothing to do with, oh, you're just not good enough for me. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I dated these guys. Either we vibe, we didn't vibe, or maybe it just didn't go anywhere. Maybe we didn't have chemistry, but we were cool. We liked each other. You see what I'm saying? Or maybe, like I said, I dated a guy who was like, I love you after 2 weeks. That was a bit fast for me. So I was just like, that's a little bit too much. What I'm saying is, even though those experiences didn't end in me staying in a relationship with them, they were still better outcomes than what I've dealt with black men. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, we're going to keep going. So does the guy have to make a certain amount of money? Wait 8 seconds.
I would say like 45 to 50,000 a year. Yeah.
Okay. 45.
It's not.
That's
I'm
not.
I saw a comment that said maybe I'm gay. I am actually bisexual. But I'm not looking. I am bisexual,
You're bisexual,
but I'm not looking. Listen, somebody said maybe she's gay, so I was responding. I do like women too, but I am on here looking for a man. I was just responding to the comment.
Would you date a black woman?
I would, but I'm saying like I don't want a relationship with a woman. I like women, like they're beautiful and they're, you know, fun to be, you know, women are fun to be, but I don't want a woman like to be in a relationship with. No, I need like a man, a strong, manly, you know, man, not a woman. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't.
Did we do the Kendra Cam already, Taylor? I don't think we did.
Let's do the Kendra. Let me turn the camera around. Okay.
All right, we see you, Taylor. All right, Taylor. All right, so don't forget we got this lag, so we just gotta wait 8 seconds after me. When was your last relationship, sweetheart?
Oh, sorry.
Taylor, you have to wait 8 seconds.
My last relationship was a year ago.
Was it a man?
He was a man.
It was a man, right?
So,
okay, was he black? It was a black guy, right?
But I was seeing someone after that. That was the black guy that I told you. We weren't in an official like relationship. I was.
Okay, fair enough. You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone? Wait 8 seconds.
Yeah, I'm gonna decline to answer that.
No worries. Taylor, what are 3 flaws you have to work on? Wait 8 seconds.
Okay. I think that I have been working on it, jumping into relationships too quickly, which is a problem that I have had in the past, and I've been doing pretty well because I've been single for a year, a little over a year. I would say divulging too much of myself, like early on, because I feel like that's screwed me in a lot of relationships. I tell men like all my deepest, darkest, because you know, you think you're connecting with them, but really you're just giving them information to use when they want to manipulate you, because that has happened, like for sex or whatever. And I also feel like I'm very direct, I'm very blunt, like in how I speak. I'm very honest about how I feel. And I feel like sometimes the way it comes off might sound like rude or like disrespectful, but I may not mean it that way. So that is definitely something that I'm working on within myself. And if I'm wrong, I'm always going to call myself out and be like, you know what, that was messed up. I shouldn't have said that, you know? So, but that is something that I'm definitely working on. And then I know you said, oh, go ahead. Oh, no, you're good. I know you said I apologize. 3, but I'm going to say 4. I think having sex too soon is something that also, like I brought up earlier, that is something that I've been working on. That's why I'm not going to be having sex. Because I like to have sex. I'm sure everybody does. But I think that sometimes I think like a guy when it comes to sex, and I'm not thinking about the emotional effect that it's going to have on me when I sleep with a man, even though I might tell myself, oh, you know, I'm just going to sleep. It's not that big of a deal. When I have sex with someone, it's really an intimate thing for me. So I've definitely been trying to dial that back and waiting a lot longer, you know, than a couple weeks or, you know.
I believe your father is a black man, correct? So what are your thoughts as a black man? What are your thoughts on your father? Wait 8 seconds.
I don't really have a relationship with my dad, actually. I don't have a relationship with either one of my parents. Okay. I think it's because, like I was talking about earlier, and I know people are like, oh, this isn't a therapy session, but like for real, we don't talk about a lot of stuff in the Black community. We don't talk about abuse. We don't talk about, you know, disrespect. Like, and I grew up in a generation of when your parents can kind of just say whatever to you and treat you any kind of way, and you're just supposed to take it. And I feel like my mom, she came from a generation of abuse. So the things that my mom did to me or allowed to happen to me, or even as an adult, you know, I still went through, I decided I had to cut her off because I felt like that's not something I want my kid around. And my father, he doesn't even date Black women. And I know you're going to be like, did you get this from your dad? Because I really didn't. I had no problem with Black men. Those are just my personal experiences of why I don't. But my dad, he didn't treat my mom very well. And I feel like I always resented him for that. And I feel like growing up, he didn't treat me very well either. Not very respectful, very narcissistic, very controlling. And I feel like he just lacked boundaries with me. So as far as how I view my dad, it's not really in the greatest light. because, you know, and I see people like saying it's layers and layers of trauma. I'm actually just graduated from therapy. I'm very self-aware and I know who I am as a person, and a lot of people don't. So I feel like how I feel about who I want to date and the choices that I make, that's just how I feel. But I am healed. I'm not hurt or sad. I don't hate Black men at all, actually. I feel like I said, if a good Black man wants to slide in these DMs and treat me with respect and show me how a man is supposed to treat a woman, then I'll have no problem dating a Black man. I just want to throw that out there because I know everybody thinks I'm part of the KKK. I've seen it in the comments. I'm not. I do find Black men very attractive. I've seen some very attractive Black men on here. And I have, you know, like, oh, they're cute, but they live too far or something. You know what I mean? So I just want everybody to know I'm open to Black men. Just come correct. Have a good job. Have your own place. Don't have 1,000 kids and 1,000 baby moms. You know what I'm saying? And be respectful. That's all I want. But like I told you, Kendra, I haven't been able to find that. And yeah, so.
Let me jump in. I'm actually, I don't know what made me ask you that question, but I'm happy I did. And I think it's fair to say your first experience with the Black man, which is your father, wasn't the best experience. And whether or not you realize how much that's playing a role, I do think that experience is playing a role. You know, one thing I would just say, first of all, I'm not a therapist. Don't pretend to be a therapist. I'm not equipped to be a therapist. So let me get that rebuttal off. But one of the reasons why I love Black men so much is because my father is just like amazing. And I saw my father growing up, like some of y'all are familiar with my dad now. He comes in and out on this show. But when I tell you my dad did whatever he had to do for me, so he's always my first experience of a Black man. So even when I had bad experiences with Black men, which I've had. So I understand your dating experience. I will always settle back to, well, I know Black men are awesome because my dad's a Black man and he was amazing. So I think it's deep. I think it's deep rooted. I do think, and I'm going to pray that you do meet some good Black men to change your perception. I went to a Black college, Southampton University. I know so many awesome Black men, but again, it's a different world. And you might have to leave Missouri to meet these men. You might have to go to different environments to meet these men because they do exist. They have good jobs. They're raising their families. They have requirements. They take care of themselves. They're community-driven men. Like, they really do exist, and I'm honoring your experience, and I pray that you get to meet them in your real life so it can help change your perception a tad bit. But your experience is your experience.
Yeah, and like I said, I hope I do meet one. Not that I don't. And people are like killing me in the comments. Like, I'm not against Black men. I'm just telling my experience. And I think we should be able to agree to disagree. Like, everybody that's in the comments is probably like, oh, she just likes white dudes. That's not what it's about. It's about me being honest about what I experienced with Black men. It's almost like when you talk about it, you're downing them. I'm not saying all Black men are bad. I'm saying that's what I've experienced with Black men. And so let's be real and say, yeah, there are a lot of Black men out there who do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, and yes, white people do it too, but I'm Black. So I'm talking about mostly my experiences with Black men. That's just what it's been. And I feel like maybe instead of blaming me for my negative experiences, we need to be raising our Black sons to treat women better so that other Black women wouldn't have experiences. Because I know a lot of people in the comments are downing me, but I also know a lot of women watching this have experienced the same shit I have. They may not want to say it, and they want to, you know, because they might be calling me a coon or whatever else they're saying because I'm saying what I'm saying, but I'm just being honest. This is the reality for Black women. That's why a lot of us are single, because that's what we have to deal with. And for my friends who don't date outside of their race, they'd rather be single and not date anyone outside of their race because they can't find any good Black men. And I'm not lying.
Listen, there's truth to what you're saying, so I'm not pushing back on that, I guess. And you have to honor yours. I think all women, Black women, might have to start being open to other races. I just hate to hear when you just give up on Black men entirely. But I am, but you're, well, girl, you gotta watch your back because you said in the beginning you don't want to date Black men. That's how kind of guy.
Because of my experiences.
Okay, fair enough. So she is open to a Black man that knows how to come correct. So if there is a Black man that knows how to come correct, or any man of any race that knows how to come to her correctly, why would he be lucky to be with you? Wait 8 seconds.
I just feel like I'm self-aware. I feel like my opinions are strong, and not a lot of people are going to agree with them. And that's why I said I'm pretty direct on how I feel. One thing about me is I'm always going to be honest with, with the person I'm with about how I feel. And I'm always going to be respectful. Like, we've had this conversation, but I feel like it's still, we kept it cordial. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I can communicate with people without getting defensive, without getting upset, without, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like communication is one of the most important things in a relationship, whether that's friendship or a romantic relationship. And I also feel like I'm a giver. I am also a provider. I mean, I'm not rich, but I make pretty decent money. And I'm like, I'll do for my partner just as much as they'll do for me. I just want to be treated with respect, and I'll treat my partner with respect.
And there you have it. All right, Taylor. Let's do it. How can the guy reach out
on my
to
Instagram? You? It's blackbarbie_TN. Yeah, because I'm black.
Black.
I'm black, kid.
Barbie.
Come on now.
You know.
Yes, black.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing. I'm teasing you. Okay, girl.
It's blackbarbie_TN.
blackbarbie_TM. All right, sweetheart. Listen, you know you're gonna be hot.
Yeah, I don't know how good I feel about that, but okay. All right, bye.
Bye, baby girl.